What is a Nevada Asset Protection Trust? A Nevada Asset Protection Trust is a self-settled spendthrift trust, and this means that you can call us to form this domestic asset protection trust and be the trust settler. We can also name you as a trust beneficiary so that you can benefit from the assets in the trust. So you can hold both positions and still enjoy protection from lawsuits and creditors. Now this is unusual because as of this writing, only 17 states offer this type of asset protection structure. And be sure to watch until the end because I'll be revealing a trust that works even better at protecting your assets from lawsuits than a Nevada Asset Protection Trust. Hi, I'm the Business Guy. And as a background, I've been in the asset protection field since 1991. We have attorneys on staff. Our company was filed in 1906 and is the leading asset protection firm nationally. And I need your help. Can you please click the like button below so YouTube will promote this video? Thank you very much. And you can also click the subscribe button so that you can keep up to date when more videos come out like this one. Once you transfer assets into a Nevada Asset Protection Trust, after 2 years have passed, the trust protects your wealth from creditors. And if you publish the asset transfer into the trust into a Nevada newspaper, for example, it reduces the time frame to 6 months. So after this statute of limitations expires, the trust locks your assets inside. Therefore, your creditors cannot easily reach them to satisfy a judgment. And by the way, if you want to form an asset protection trust, you can give us a call at the number below and use the coupon code BG for Business Guy, BG100, for $100 off an asset protection trust just for watching this video. Now, under Nevada law, any individual may create a legally valid trust where they act as both the settler and the beneficiary of the trust. Now, it is possible for the settler to also serve as the trustee. This allows the settler to maintain control of the assets held inside of the trust. However, in order to protect assets from the claims of creditors, the trust must specify a co-trustee. The co-trustee must have discretion over the distribution of assets held in the trust. The co-trustee may also be referred to as the distribution trustee. That is because the way asset protection trusts work, if you could readily distribute the assets out to yourself, your creditor could step into your shoes and distribute the money to himself or herself. So having a third-party trustee prevents your creditor from stepping into your shoes and forcing an asset transfer. Now, there are very few limitations for trust customers. As long as you didn't establish the trust to defraud known creditors and you meet the simple operating formalities, Nevada's protective legislation can provide you with respectable asset protection benefits. At least one trustee has to be a Nevada resident who's responsible for trust records, filing tax requirements. Someone in Nevada needs to administer the trust. That is, someone in the state of Nevada needs to be the primary administrator of the trust. Wealth protection and substantial control. Trust settlers, that is you, can have substantial control or power in trust activities, especially as to how the trustee makes distributions to beneficiaries. Like we covered a moment ago, you could not directly order a trustee to make regular payments to yourself as the trust settler. If you could, the judge could force you to use that power to direct funds to your legal enemies. You can, however, request that the trustee makes distributions. Plus, you can have veto power over distributions to other beneficiaries. This allows a trust settler to maintain some control over trust asset distributions. You can have an arm's length ability to influence the timing and amount of the distributions to yourself. Another peace of mind feature built into these laws is the ability for the trust settler to serve as the investment trustee. As such, you can unilaterally manage and invest trust assets. In other words, your fingers can be on the keyboard, logging into the bank and/or brokerage account and making stock trades. Another feature is the power to remove and replace your Nevada trustee. Don't like the trustee? Fire the trustee and hire another company. Finally, you can establish how the trust distributes assets when the settler passes away through what is called the power of appointment. Now, the asset protection trust arena is fairly new in the United States, and only a few states have enacted asset protection trust law. And I can speak personally to the fact that experts have long known Nevada as a business-friendly jurisdiction with favorable corporation and LLC laws. Courts there have proven to uphold the corporate veil. And now Nevada has stepped out front as the domestic asset protection trust of choice. Case law is still developing. However, Nevada laws are clear on the protection they grant to a properly established and settled asset protection trust. So why Nevada? It has been said that Nevada offers the best legal framework for creating and maintaining a domestic asset protection trust. In fact, the Nevada Asset Protection Trust has received an A+ rating as the best domestic asset protection trust in the nation. Now, here are some of Nevada's benefits. No state income tax, no state corporate taxes, shortest statute of limitations on asset transfer, 2 years, which can be as short as 6 months if properly implemented. all creditors are barred from accessing trust assets, including alimony, child support, judgments, etc. Highest evidentiary standard. Any creditor challenging the transfer of assets must provide clear and convincing evidence of the intent to defraud creditors. Domestic asset protection. Until recently, if you wanted a self-settled spendthrift asset protection trust, you had to go offshore. And now, U.S. clients that are not comfortable with foreign trustees and financial institutions have another option. You can get a similar level of creditor protection in a domestic vehicle with fewer operating formalities and less expense, making a Nevada asset protection trust a viable option as a primary strategy. Now, please keep this in mind because this is very important. The Nevada Asset Protection Trust is primarily for Nevada residents with Nevada-based assets. Case law does not look very favorably to the settler who lives in another state. We have seen judges say, I don't care if Nevada has these statutes, we don't have them here in California, Texas, New York, Florida, etc. So I order the trustee to turn over the assets. Plus, every attorney who works for a company has seen results-oriented judges cast the law aside and hand assets to another party, regardless of what the law says. So the question is, what works better than a Nevada Asset Protection Trust, and what is the solution for non-Nevada residents? Well, our organization also has the nation's only trigger trust. In fact, it's our federally registered trademark. That is, the trust is a domestic U.S.-based asset protection trust until duress hits. Then the trustees decide to trigger the escape clause and convert the trust to the world's strongest asset protection tool, a Cook Islands or Nevis trust. Our licensed bonded Cook Islands or Nevis law firm steps in as trustee. A Nevada trustee would need to cave into U.S. court orders, and we've seen it. With a foreign trustee, on the other hand, they are not required to follow the orders of a foreign court, such as a court in the US, UK, Australia, Canada, and can refuse to turn over trust assets to your legal enemy. In fact, our offshore trust has effectively protected our clients' assets in every case in which we have employed it. And I believe we have established more international asset protection trusts than anybody on the planet. Call us for details. Real estate asset protection. We also have ways to employ land trusts, LLCs, and equity stripping strategies associated with your trust to protect your domestic real estate from lawsuits. Diversify your asset protection plan. If you already have an asset protection plan in place, a Nevada trust, or better yet, a trigger trust, offers diversity to your strategy. The top asset protection firms in the world, ours being the leader, recommend spreading your wealth around in multiple asset protection vehicles in multiple asset protection jurisdictions. This would make your legal opponent fight the battle on multiple fronts, adding a huge expense to the legal costs of pursuing your wealth. A Nevada trust or trigger trust could complement any asset protection plan, offshore or domestic. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please click the like button below and enter your remarks or questions in the comments section, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this one. If you want to talk to somebody personally, feel free to call and speak to one of our attorneys or consultants at 1-954-400-1050 or visit assetprotectionplanners.com and fill out a free consultation form. Thanks for watching. This is The Business Guy.